Although I am currently homeless, I am not without a job. I decided to leave the army after 3 years of service due to pretty terrible pay and long, uncompensated hours at work. After a few months of job searching, I was able to line up a pretty great job as a fraud investigator in Kansas City. The pay was excellent, and the only thing that would keep anyone from accepting this job was the commute distance of 1,000 miles from Fort Bragg, North Carolina. An additional obstacle would be that once I get there, I wouldn't have the funds to rent an apartment. Essentially, I would be homeless for 2 weeks until I got my first paycheck. For many people, this would be a deal breaker, and I can see why. But being in the army for so long, I got used to terrible situations and making almost any situation work for me. We used to go to the field for weeks at a time, and that would involve camping in the woods, and in most cases, not having showers until we left for home. Since this wasn't a new situation for me, I had accepted the job offer and made my way over to Kansas City as soon as I was released from my duties from the army. I like to drive, so I was able to make that trip in just 2 days. Once I got to my new city, I got to searching for areas the locals or police wouldn't mind someone camping for an extended amount of time. By nightfall, I was able to find a natural area, a patch of grove next to the road only a few feet from the woods, where camping up to 2 weeks was free, and no one would bother me until I had the funds to move into my own apartment. I had brought some supplies in preparation for this: extra clean clothes, canned food, sheets, and wet towels I could use to shower in the mornings. Since I didn't have a camping tent, I decided to convert the back of my car into a bed. After placing the back seats down, I actually had enough space to comfortably sleep in, so I placed some sheets down and decided to tie another sheet above me, so no one could peek in through my windows and see me sleeping there. For a few days, this worked just fine, but as I was driving back to my campsite one night, I started to notice some weird things. When I was working on my bed setup, I noticed that the forest went dead silent. Usually, crickets and other animal noises would rule the night air, but it was completely silent that night. The moment I noticed, I felt completely uneasy and felt like I was being watched. I hurried with what I was doing and jumped in my secure car. A couple of minutes passed until I was able to ignore that overwhelming feeling of dread and browse some YouTube videos. Eventually, I forgot about the situation and fell asleep. A couple of hours into the night, I got up as I usually do, and noticed that the window closest to my face was foggy, as someone had been breathing on the other side. I was disoriented and grabbed my phone to check what time it was. I paused for a moment. There was a sound coming from the other side of the makeshift bed, the other window that was covered by the sheet that was only a few inches above me. The sound was light, gentle tapping on the glass. I doubt that if I wasn't already awake, I would have heard it. The fear took me a few moments to register, and it took me a few more moments to think through if I really wanted to investigate further. Eventually, my morbid curiosity won over, and I quietly and gently reached for the sheet, pulling it up ever so slightly. What I saw made me choke. On the other side of the window, there was some creature, big, hairy, and crouching over to my window. Before you ask, no, it wasn't Bigfoot. It had hair on what I could see of its body, but it was thinning and patchy. It was big, but not muscle-bound. It was very skinny and had long claws on its bony hands. It was tapping on the window with them. The most grotesque of its features was that horrible smile. Its smile was ear to ear. I don't know if it was because it was enjoying this, or if it saw me when I took a quick peek at it. I didn't want to make a move, as I knew that if I tried to make it to the front seat to drive away, it could easily break through the window with those sharp claws and get to me. So for the next couple of hours, I just laid in my makeshift bed, praying that the thing outside my window didn't break in and kill me. Eventually, the tapping stopped and the sun came up. I got out of my car the next morning and investigated the area around my car. There were weird tracks all over my campsite that only confirmed I hadn't imagined the whole thing, and there really was something on the other side of my window. Why it didn't just break into my car and do whatever it wanted to is only one of the questions nagging at me. The other would be how long had that thing actually been coming to my campsite at night, and had it been the first time it came so close to me, or had this just been the first time I had caught it. Either way, I found a new campsite tonight, far away from where I had my encounter with that creature. I think I'll have to move again in the morning if I make it that long, because as I'm typing this, I can hear something tapping at my window.